James Dignan, the President and CEO of the Regional Chamber. This event recognizes each year and continues to honor the tradition of saluting businesses and the business leaders in the Valley. Today we will present 5 awards to deserving individuals and recognize companies for their longevity and membership in the Chamber. In just a couple moments, we're going to officially kick off the 172nd Canfield Fair and then ask Youngstown State University's head football coach to preview the season for us. We are also pleased to welcome to the Valley our keynote speaker from the U.S. Small Business Administration. And we'll hear some comments from her on the state of business across the country. But first, I would like to begin today's festivities by introducing our table. And to my far left, we have Tyler Harden, President of Exospec, and our Small Business Person of the Year. Next to him, we have Ms. Penny Wells, Executive Director of the Mahoning Valley Sojourn to the Past, our Nonprofit Professional of the Year. And Ryan Bahana, Vice President of Operations, Melton Mill Operations, Arconic Engineered Structures, our Business Professional of the Year. And someone you all know, Ms. Kim Calvert, Vice President of Marketing and Events at the Regional Chamber. More from Kim. And to my immediate right, we have Rob Gorham, Executive Director of America Makes and our Business Advocate of the Year. And then Mr. Chuck George, CEO of HAPCO and our Entrepreneur of the Year. And Linda McMahon, Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration. As you probably noted in the program, Senator Rob Portman was set to join us this morning, but unfortunately he sends his regrets and appreciation for the opportunity, but he had to be in D.C. today to conduct the business of the nation. So this weekend is always an exciting time for us in the Valley, and we are fortunate to have the largest county fair in the state. And it's right here in Mahoning County. It's an annual tradition for many of us to spend time there and enjoy great food and fun. So let's now help kick off this year's Canfield Fair with a warm welcome from the Fair Board, represented by Mr. David Dickey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 6 best days of summer. This is our 172nd Canfield Fair, and I just want to give you a couple highlights because I know you have a busy agenda. One of the things I want to talk about is our board of directors. There's part of them here, but they're probably the hardest 17 workers in a fair business. They put on the #1 county fair in the state of Ohio. But we talk about rides this year. We have a new ride purveyor, and yesterday the directors rode the roller coaster and the Dutch wheel, so I think they're pretty safe. So we're on there. There's 48 units in all, so we're ready to go on that. This year we have mule racing, and there's only, I believe, what he says, there's 2 mule races in the state of Ohio, and we have 1 this year. So that's going to be interesting. We have 3 days of harness racing, so that's interesting. And you have your, there's programs, I think, here. So this year we have the STEM demonstrations in Building 44. So the STEM program from the MCCTC and also from the 4-H are having some demonstrations. We have a robotics demonstrations, and they will be demonstrating in Building 44 and also up on the stage, the north stage. Model railroading display down in Western Reserve Village. The 4-H and open class animals. We have approximately about 4,000 animals on the fairgrounds during the fair, so you can get your fill of that. Food, we have 470 vendors with about 972 stands. And every one of them are inspected by the Board of Health, and they've done a great job as partnership with us so we could have a safe fair. We figure there are over 2,500 pounds of potatoes sold at each French fry stand during the week. And they tell us there's over 2,000 cases of lemons that are sold, so that equates to about 400,000 lemon shake-ups, so don't think you have the special one. We've been told that there's up to 5,000 pounds of sausage served, so I think any cardiologists are here. I think they're good for business now. But one of the things that we have about 190 parker signs. So to get in the fair, we park around 2,500 cars an hour at the peak times. So it takes a lot of work, and we appreciate everybody in our on the board that stands on the department. Demo Derby on Friday, Tractor Pull on Saturday, Matthew West on Sunday, Toby Keith on Monday. See you all at the fair. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, David. And all those are fat-free, vegan. We got them all. Okay, they're all covered. So you're good. Cardiologists can relax. So thank you so much for joining us and the members of the board, and somehow making the fair even bigger and better each year. And for the hundreds of thousands that will attend, thank you for your efforts. And we wish you the best and look forward to seeing you out there this week. So in addition to the fair, many of us will be attending or following Youngstown State University's first football game of the season, which is against Butler this Saturday. The team will be playing under the direction of head coach Bo Pelini, who returns to the Valley for the fourth year after he took the helm of the Penguins. And like right now, please welcome Coach Pelini, talk and let us know what's going on this year with our Penguins and how that undefeated row is going to go.
Thanks, James. Good morning, everybody. It's always an honor and a privilege for me to be able to speak in front of this group, a group of business leaders, people that are so important to this valley and to the support of all the great things that we have going on, both in the area, at our university, and all around town. So we're looking forward to this season. I love the potential of our football team. I think we have a chance to be very good. They're going into my fourth year. I finally feel like, it takes time to kind of develop a culture in your program to get it where you want it to be. I think, you're never quite where you want it to be, ever. But I think we're getting really close. I mean, I'm talking about young men who, beyond the football field, who represent the university, the area, the way it needs to be represented, both on and off the field. And I think we're getting closer. You don't have to deal with the longer you're together, the longer they understand, what you're all about, what the program's all about, what the university represents, and what this area represents as far as dedication, discipline, hard work, accountability. It becomes easier it gives you a lot better chance to be successful on a consistent basis, and I think we're getting closer to being there. Our kids are working really hard, and I think we have a chance to be a really good football team. I mean, I guess I have a lot of people coming up to me when I'm at the gas stations and out at the grocery store and different things talking about injuries. I guess they've been being talked about. I don't get the chance to see the news this time of year very much, but it's not doom and gloom. We're okay. We had a couple guys on the defensive side who went down, but I think it's next man up, and I think we have a chance to be good. We're not the finished product yet, but I think that we're going to be a team that's going to be able to compete for not only a conference championship, but hopefully a national championship. And that's what our goal is. That's what it's going to be year in and year out. And we're really excited of not only what's going on in our football program, but what's going on at our university. President Trussell, the administration, the board, everybody that is associated with Youngstown State, there are some great things going on down there as far as our enrollment, as far as just the development of the area. It's a tremendous, the university gets better and better each and every year, and I know we as a football program are trying to do our best to uphold the traditions and continue to get better on a yearly basis, because that's what YSU is all about. I just ask all of you, please, bring your families, bring your business associates, bring your friends. Come on out and support our kids. Our kids work year-round. They're going year-round. A lot of dedication, spending a lot of time, putting in long, early mornings, late nights, as far as studying to hold. It's a grind to be a student athlete these days, and they go year-round. We need to start filling the stadium back up again. We're going to try and do our part. We're going to try to bring out a product. Hopefully, when you walk into that stadium, I promise you're going to see top-notch Division I football. But hopefully, you're going to be very proud on a weekly basis on how they represent you, how they play. Not just whether we win or lose, but how they play. They're going to play with passion, they're going to play with integrity, and they're going to represent you the way you want to be represented. And we need to fill this stadium up. We're not going to be able to get this program to where it needs to be on a consistent basis as far as competing for championships until we get that stadium filled up again. I know it's busy. I know you're all busy. But yeah, I know in this valley, for it to be what it needs to be and what it can be, we all have to support each other's efforts as far as the fair, the university, the businesses, all the different great things that are going on. We need each other. You know, unfortunately, you know, obviously I grew up here. We all know that the population has dwindled some. That means that the people that are here got to support each other. And I hope to see you guys this Saturday against Butler. I hope to see you. We have a great home schedule. Hope to see you week in and week out. And we're going to do our best to bring a championship back to the Valley. So thanks for your time this morning. And go Penguins. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Coach Pelini, for that overview and the words of wisdom. And to echo that, I always say here in the Valley, not being a native, welcome back to the Valley. But we have all the resources we need right here in the Valley to help ourselves. Part of it is supporting the businesses and the teams and those that represent us and coming together as a community. So go Penguins. We'll see you on Saturday. And best luck for a winning season, championship, and bring the rest home. So I'd also like to welcome back and thank for their longtime support of this event our two sponsors. The PNC Financial Services Group has been the breakfast sponsor for 9 years, while the Western Reserve Building and Construction Trades Council has been the award sponsor for 10 years. We're grateful for all that you do for our organization, and would like to recognize and thank the PNC Regional President Ted Schmidt and Trades Council President Rocky DeGennaro. And normally you would have Ted as my chair up here emceeing, but yesterday he almost had no voice, and by this morning he was out for the count. So he wishes he could be here, but you got this ugly mug up here instead. So on that note, I'd like to invite Ryan Pastor, our Vice President of Community and Client Services, to give a few remarks on behalf of PNC.
No one knows my title, James. That's fine. So, good morning, everybody. PNC very proud to serve as the event sponsor for the Salute to Business Breakfast for 9 years, and it's hard to believe it's been 9 years already. I can still remember that meeting that we had in our office talking about this sponsorship and just kind of where the time goes. But you know, we support the Chamber for the same reason everybody here supports the Chamber, is we know that it is the economic driver for new development in our valley, and we need to be a part of that, and we are very proud to do so, and we love to see the impact that James and the entire team has on the community. So today is a day about our honorees. It's about hearing about from our keynote speaker, so I really want to be brief, but I just want to say thank you to all the businesses and individuals in the valley for helping to continue to allow PNC to succeed. It is through your growth that we continue to grow, and we are just very fortunate and proud to be part of this valley. So let me just close by saying thank you to everyone here today. Let me be one of the first to congratulate all of our honorees. Your passion and your dedication and your commitment to this valley is truly an inspiration, and we look forward for what you hear today and then good things to come. And everyone else, enjoy the fair, enjoy the game, and have a great day.
Thanks, Ryan. Good fill-in. Before we hear from our keynote speaker, I'd like to take a few moments to recognize some very special companies and organizations that are in attendance today. It's remarkable that so many of our businesses in the Valley celebrate milestone anniversaries year after year and have chosen to call the Mahoning Valley home. But it's also significant to the Regional Chamber that the number of companies that have supported our organization as members for as many years as they've been in business. Today, we'll honor our milestone Chamber anniversaries of 25 years or more, and you've seen some of those up on the screen as you're getting breakfast, and we'll recognize those that are in attendance this morning. To the 8 companies that are here today, on behalf of the staff, board, fellow members, and the entire community, thank you for your support, passion, and contributions to our organization and your community. We could not accomplish our goals and mission without you, and we congratulate you all for your longtime success. I would like to ask those that are present from these companies to stand as I read their names. Please remain standing, and audience, hold your applause to the end. Celebrating 55 years of chamber membership, Mercy Health. With 50 years, PNC. With 45 years, WKBN, YTV, YFX, and Nexstar. Celebrating 30 years, Holiday Inn Boardman and City Machine Technologies. And with 35 years, Arconic Engineered Structures, Boak & Sons, and Molly Maid of Mahoning and Trumbull counties. Can we please give all these a warm round of applause? Thank you. We have certificates and a gift to present up here at the table as you exit, or near the exit. If you'd like to stop at the close, and our staff will meet with you. And on that note, if somebody is looking for a ride on the way home, there's some keys that were left at the desk. It's a Mercedes, has a Kent State keychain on it. It's got a Dubai keychain on it. You ready? Okay. It's up for auction. It'll be out at the desk on your way out. So moving on to our keynote this morning, we have asked a special guest to join us to introduce Administrator Linda McMahon from the U.S. Small Business Administration. And you may remember from about a month ago, City Machine Technologies, right here from Youngstown, was chosen to represent the state of Ohio and take part in the Made in America product showcase at the White House. CMT CEO Mike Kovach and his family did our valley proud. I sent Claudia a little note when I saw it. Was, makes us proud to see that picture up on the White House lawn for the whole nation to see. They brought their deep aluminum scrap handler industrial lifting magnet to the showcase and shined a light on our community, representing what we stand for. Mike has said that it was with the SBA's help that he was able to turn his dream of owning a business into a reality with the opening of CMT back in 1985. So we asked him to share a bit of that story before introducing Administrator McMahon. Let's please welcome Mr. Mike Kovach.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. James is correct in saying that without the SBA's help, I would not be here today, nor showcasing our products on the south lawn of the White House. In 1984, I was a youngster with the big dream of opening a regional industrial service center. I met with the Mahoning Valley Economic Development Corporation to see just how someone can start a business. And for all those budding entrepreneurs here today, their table's right in the center of the organization. Great people, go talk to them. I did my homework, formulated a business plan, and then in the spring of 1985, I solicited the Dollar Savings and Trust Company for their support. 1 week after our meeting, we had a commitment letter from Dollar Bank and the SBA. We began to formulate our deal. By August 9, 1985, CMT was open for business. A year later, we again tapped Dollar Bank with help in purchasing the building we were leasing and to double its size. In 1990, we made another acquisition of a building and machinery to further facilitate our growth. In 1995, it was evident we would need a larger facility, and again, Dollar Bank's successor, National City Bank, and the SBA rose to the occasion to make it happen. Long story short, we paid all our notes per term, never missing a payment, and all those notes have long since been retired. To say the SBA was pivotal in our success would be an understatement. In thanking them for their support, it is now my distinct honor to introduce this morning's keynote speaker. Linda McMahon serves as the 25th Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration and is a member of President Trump's cabinet. She advocates on behalf of the 30 million small businesses in America. She leads a team of professionals dedicated to ensuring entrepreneurs have the support and tools they need to start, grow, and succeed in business, specifically through access to capital and federal contracting opportunities. Counseling and mentorship and financial assistance following declared disasters is also in their portfolio. An entrepreneur and business executive herself, McMahon is the co-founder and former chief executive officer of WWE, based in Stamford, Connecticut. And yes, we mean that WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. She helped grow WWE from a 13-person regional operation to a publicly traded global company with more than 800 employees in offices worldwide. McMahon has been a longtime advocate for women in leadership and business and has been widely recognized as one of the country's top female executives. She stepped down as CEO of WWE in 2009 to run for the U.S. Senate and was the Republican nominee to represent the people of Connecticut in 2010 and 2012. The graduate of East Carolina University and her husband, Vince, who met when they were just teenagers, have 2 adult children and 6 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Valley welcome to U.S. SBA Administrator Linda McMahon. Linda.
He's a little taller than I am, which is most of the time the case with me when I come up to the microphone. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. James, on behalf of the Chamber, I really very much appreciate being here this morning. And Mike, I'm really looking forward to the tour of City Machine a little bit later on this afternoon. I look forward to seeing you there as well. Thank you. So it's great to be here. I'm glad to know that SBA was instrumental in helping Mike. I knew that. I was at the White House when Mike was there representing the state of Ohio, and I got to tour all of the businesses within the East Room and then go out on the South Lawn. And Mike and I were sharing a story this morning about how we both climbed up into the F-35 that was sitting outside on the lawn. And that's a pretty heady experience to sit in that plane and think about what those F-35s can do. So it's a great experience, and Mike, I'm glad you've got that photo on the South Lawn, and Ohio was well represented. Well, it's good to know that SBA guaranteed loans were so helpful to you way back in 1986. We at the SBA like to say that we power the American dream, and you and your success are certainly living proof of that, Mike. As head of the U.S. Small Business Administration, I'm working to help even more entrepreneurs like Mike have the tools they need to start, grow, and to succeed in business. And for the past 14 months, I've been traveling all over the country meeting with small business owners. And this is my 4th trip to Ohio in this past year. I love hearing from entrepreneurs about their ideas and about their challenges. It's truly my honor to advocate on behalf of America's 30 million small businesses. You know, it's sometimes a little known fact that over 96% of all businesses in our country are small businesses. As a matter of fact, I think that percentage is a little higher now. And listening to them helps me better serve as their voice in the administration. Mike's business, CMT, is just one of the 945,000 small businesses here in Ohio. In fact, in Ohio, 99.6% of all businesses are considered small businesses. Together, they employ about 2.2 million workers, and that's a lot of jobs depending on small business success. I'm happy to share with you a bit about what's happening in Washington to ensure small businesses do continue to succeed. It's really great that we have a president who understands business and who is so supportive of small businesses all around the country. This is a terrific time for small businesses. That's reflected in the tremendous optimism that I see nationwide. The unemployment rate is at a healthy 3.9%, the lowest it's been in 18 years. In surveys done by the United States Chamber of Commerce, NFIB, and the National Association of Manufacturers, members report near record levels of optimism. And from my perspective as head of the SBA, there's no better signal of small business optimism than entrepreneurs who are willing to take a risk on a business by seeking funding or counseling to start to grow a business. Since President Trump took office, the SBA has provided loan guarantees of about $48.8 billion to small businesses, supporting almost 1.1 million jobs. So what's the source of all this optimism that you hear about? I think a lot of it comes from what small businesses see happening in Washington. I applaud President Trump for delivering on his promise to make regulatory reform, tax cuts, and workforce development key pillars of his pro-growth agenda. So let's talk about regulatory reform first. Often entrepreneurs tell me it's not a specific regulation that puts a chokehold on their business, but the sheer volume of rules and mandates they must keep up with. Most small businesses don't have teams of lawyers and compliance officers on staff to make sure that everything is followed. The CEO of the company, and I can certainly attest to this, is often the receptionist, the accountant, and the janitor too. And I'll share just one little story with you. One of the early on things that my husband and I did as we were growing our business, we bought a small facility in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, called the Cape Cod Coliseum. Now that sounds big, doesn't it? It held about 5,200 people. But part of what we did at the Coliseum was to try to entice acts to come to Cape Cod that hadn't been there before. So John Denver was coming one weekend, and this was big time back in the 1980s for the Cape Cod Coliseum. And so I went around the building. I wanted to make sure everything was really just top notch. And I went into believe this story, went into one of the bathrooms, and I didn't think that it had been brought quite up to speed from what I thought it ought to be. So now I'm the CEO, I'm walking around, and I talked to the janitor, and his name was Bob, and I said, "Bob, have you taken care of this restroom?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "Well, come in here. Let me just point out a few things." So I did by cleaning the bathroom myself and showed him how it needed to be done. I never had to do that again. But that's why the CEO is very important. And for that same event, we had to cover the ice that was part of the ice rink at the Coliseum. So my husband is on the front loader bringing out the Homazote pads to put down because he showed them how it could be done quicker than they were doing it. So CEOs have to get into the mix of things sometimes and to let everybody know exactly how it gets done. So you roll up your sleeves and you do a little bit of it all. So that's why rolling back regulations are so important for small businesses. Do you know that in a small business, regulatory compliance costs about $11,700 per employee? And that's more than big companies pay. Under President Trump, costly, job-killing federal regulations are being cut. And for every new regulation created under this administration, 22 have been eliminated for a total of over 900 so far. A few months ago, the president signed a long-anticipated bill to reform a regulation known as the Dodd-Frank Act. The reform provides relief to small and community financial institutions from overly burdensome regulations and frees them from annual oversight measures that included stress tests and other compliance measures. This will make it easier for community banks and credit unions to lend money, to give that access to capital. And that's terrific news for entrepreneurs who are seeking business loans. You know, access to capital is critical, as so many of you know. It's a key factor in whether small businesses can succeed or fail. A few years ago, I met a small business owner in Connecticut who wanted to grow his company, expand his footprint, add more equipment, and create new jobs in his business. He said his local bank, where he had been a client for decades, wouldn't give him a loan. He said he was told by his banker, "Hey, listen, you're asset rich, but you're cash poor." And he said, "Well, I know that. If I had the money, I wouldn't be here seeking the loan. So he didn't expand. He would not put everything he had back on the line to get a small mortgage to advance and grow his business. He'd done that over the years and proved to be a worthy client, but under the Dodd-Frank regulations, they could not loan him the money without the pledge of assets more than the loan he wanted to take out. So he didn't expand, he didn't buy any equipment, he didn't hire any new employees. And that's a classic example of how this Dodd-Frank restriction killed jobs and prevented growth of business. So the new legislation will make a real difference in the lives of small business owners. Another White House initiative that's having a major impact on small business owners are tax cuts. As you know, most small businesses will now be able to deduct 20% off their taxable income even before they get into the savings from the new lower brackets. And for the first 5 years, they'll be able to write off any investment in new equipment the year that it's made. Here's an example of how that plays out in real life. I was down in Jacksonville, Florida on part of this touring that I'm doing around the country. And by the way, I've been to 42 states and 54 of the 68 SBA district offices since I took office last year. And when I was visiting this owner in Jacksonville, Florida, I asked him, I said, were the tax cuts of any benefit to you? What have you seen so far? And he broke out in a big grin and he pointed, he said, you see that big white truck over there? And I said, yeah. He said, I call that my tax cut truck. He said, it's brand new, it's $80,000. And he said, if I hadn't had tax cuts and been able to write that off, this would not have been a time that I could have bought that truck. So when he bought the truck, he hired a new employee. He said he added 6 new clients, and he was very grateful for the tax cuts. He said the tax cuts were the motivation he needed. And with the increase in demand he's seeing, he's already continuing to grow his business. That's what I hear from small businesses. They're investing in property, they're raising wages, they're providing bonuses and benefits, and they're creating more jobs. And the third pillar I'd like to talk about, which is in some ways a consequence of our booming economy, is workforce development. As I said earlier, the national unemployment rate is at 3.9%. For the first time on record, there are more job openings than there are people to fulfill those jobs. The unemployment rate for Hispanics is now the lowest ever recorded. The unemployment rate for African Americans has set record lows, and the unemployment rate for women was recently the lowest in over 65 years. Great news, right? It is good news. But that's creating a lot of challenges. So many business owners I talk to say they'd like to grow, but they can't find enough workers with the skills they need. A few weeks ago, I hosted a roundtable in Cincinnati, and one woman told me her family has owned a small manufacturing business for 51 years, and she's feverishly looking for people who want to work with their hands. She simply can't find enough people with that skill set, so she's worried about her business will be able to grow. I know there are a lot of manufacturing businesses, and I'm going to talk to Mike a little bit about this later on, so I imagine a lot of you may be facing the same challenges. So what are we going to do about this? I call it it's a high-class problem, right? That we've got more jobs now than we have workforce to fill those jobs. To address this, the administration is putting a targeted focus on workforce development, aiming to ensure workers have the skills employers need. I don't know how many of you in here, and I will date myself on this, when I was in high school, we had what was called our vocational training program. If you were a junior or senior in high school, you could have a job in a particular field. You would come to class in the morning. In the afternoon, you would go to that job, and you'd get credits toward graduation for that job. A lot of times they were, mechanics or electrician apprentices or whatever, retail sales, but you got credit for those and you learned a skill. President Trump has signed an executive order establishing the National Council for the American Worker. It aims to create an integrated strategy to bring employers, unions, and educational institutions together to develop apprentice programs and curricula to train workers with the skills that employers need. I was recently served as a member of the Board of Trustees for Sacred Heart University in Connecticut. And one of the things we really tried to stress as I was from the business world and on the board was for our educational community within the university to constantly meet with industry leaders within the state to say, look, what is it you need? We don't want to just have our students coming here just to train and learn things that might not be applicable to today's environment or what industry needs or what you need to grow your business. And it's very important that we continue to work with our universities, with our vocational schools, with our high schools, and even down into our grade schools. And I'm honored to serve on this council that the president has set up with several of my cabinet members to make sure that students and workers can gain access to affordable, relevant, and innovative education and job training. Simply put, we need a workforce that's ready to work. To achieve this, we need to promote vocational and technical education, with schools and the private sector working together. Some small businesses and corporations are even contributing equipment to vocational schools or community colleges. Students train on that very equipment they'd be using on the job, and often have a job waiting for them when they graduate. Last month, I visited a community college in West Virginia where Toyota is doing exactly that. Students spend 2 days a week in class in the technical school, and in the technical school, they are learning on the machines that Toyota and the computers that Toyota has contributed to this kind of incubator setting. The other 3 days of the week, they work on the floor of the Toyota factory, learning and earning money at the same time because they're paid for their work. As head of the SBA, I'm encouraging small businesses to do the same thing, to say to schools and their communities, this is what we need. How can we help you design the curriculum? While many of the nation's largest employers like FedEx and Lockheed Martin joined the president in announcing this initiative and pledged to support it, small businesses as well as large corporations have a real stake in this success. We're asking small business owners to invest in the advancement of our current and future workforce by providing individuals with opportunities to develop skills that will help them succeed, not just in their current role, but throughout their careers. Their engagement will provide a boost for apprenticeships, work-based learning programs, continuing education, and on-the-job training. We have so many people now in companies. As those companies grow and change their technology and bring in more technology, which replaces some jobs, those folks that were in those jobs need reskilling, they need retraining to go on to advance and to stay with companies or to join other companies. So please, I urge our small and large businesses, take part in those programs. A couple of weeks ago, I visited a landscaping small business in Pennsylvania. The owner told me he goes to schools and talks about jobs and skilled labor so young people know that it's an option. They have choices and should base their future careers on what they like to do. Spend your time with your passion. What is it you really want to do? And that's how he got his start. He was working as a teenager, and I was almost amused and impressed by the fact that as a teenager, he had put aside a little money as he had done some work, and he bought a used dump truck. He said the other kids used to tease him when he was in high school driving a dump truck, and today those same people are scratching their heads because he now owns his own business. He's got a lot of dump trucks now, and he's making good money doing what he loves. All of these kinds of initiatives, tax cuts, regulatory reform, workforce development, really have just one goal. That's helping small businesses grow and thrive. You know, America has 30 million small businesses. They create 2 out of 3 net new jobs in the private sector, and half of our nation's workforce either works for or owns a small business. They really are the engines of our economy, and a thriving economy makes a stronger America. And I am so proud to work with you and on your behalf of all of our nation's entrepreneurs. It's nice being the voice for 30 million businesses in Washington. I want to congratulate all of our award recipients today and wish all of you continued success. Enjoy the fair. Have a great season, Coach, and really just continue to put Youngstown on the map because of the kind of community you are and the kind of success you have. Thank you so much for having me with you this morning.
Thank you, Administrator McMahon. It's an honor having you here and speaking with us today. We'll see you out the other events. Talked about workforce development and some of the innovative things that we have to do as a community, and those are represented here in the Valley. We'll continue to work with all of our partners to make sure that we have innovative ways to provide the right skilled, quality, educated workforce for our growing businesses here in the Valley. One of the things I wanted to mention, I went back a number of years ago for my 30th reunion, and they'd asked me and a few of my friends to stand up and speak to the students at our school, about 4,000 kids in the high school. And we get up there and we're talking. There are 4 of us. We're standing there, and we all knew each other, just haven't spoken in a while. And it was odd that of the 4 of us standing there, 3 of us had college degrees and beyond and had very successful careers. But the only millionaire there was the one that went on to get his apprenticeship program and go through the skilled trades, and now he owns one of the largest commercial HVAC organizations in the Pacific Northwest. There are options for many of us, but sometimes we're just not aware of them. So lots of opportunity here in the Valley. We'll next honor our award recipients this morning, so please welcome for the introductions, Ms. Kim Calvert from our Marketing and Events at the Regional Chamber.
Thank you, James. It is my distinct honor to introduce our 2018 award recipients this morning. Our first honoree, the Business Professional of the Year, we recognize for his strategic leadership that has resulted in continued growth and investment at Arconic Titanium and Engineered Structures in Wethersfield Township. Ryan Behenna became Vice President of Operations, Mountain Mill at Arconic in January of 2016. The Melt Group has 6 facilities located in 4 locations in Ohio, Virginia, and Michigan, and supplies titanium ingot to the Wethersfield Mill and Martinsville, Virginia locations. The Forging Group also comprises operations in Wethersfield and Martinsville, and the Mill Group consists of all downstream processing operations. Ryan's leadership has resulted in safety upgrades and the installation of new machinery and equipment, which has led to the ongoing creation of new employment opportunities at the local facility. He is passionate about building a quality and performance-driven team and maintains a strong focus on metrics to drive improvements in all aspects of the business. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screens.
My segment essentially produces titanium for the commercial aerospace industry as well as for the military. We produce semi-finished products, plate, billet, sheet, ingot. We actually supply 100% of the titanium for the Joint Strike Fighter out of this facility and the supporting facilities. We currently have 740 employees here on site. Most people don't know that one of the main titanium producers, actually we're the 4th largest in the world, is located right in their backyard here in the Niles Warren area. So the industry obviously is fairly small, but it's growing substantially. The new platforms on Airbus and Boeing have just exploded over the last few years, so we're in an unprecedented ramp up. We've increased 170 people over the last 3 years based on the growth and investments we've put into this facility. I love advancing manufacturing in the U.S. So I'm a steel guy, grew up in the mills. I've watched too many facilities go away over the years. So for me, it's a personal, developing, growing facilities within the U.S. is a big deal for me.
Brian has an extensive background in ferrous and non-ferrous melting and metalworking. Before joining Arconic, he served as the general manager for Wyman Gordon's Houston Aero Turbine business and director of operations at Elwood Texas Forge, and held operations manager roles at PCC, Wyman Gordon, and Special Metals in the former Bethlehem Steel Corporation. The Hudson resident received a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering technology from Purdue University, and he and his wife are the proud parents of a daughter and son. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate 2018 Business Professional of the Year, Mr. Ryan Behenna.
Morning, everyone. Didn't realize I looked like that on camera, but first of all, thank you very much. It's a deep honor to accept this award from the committee here. We've done a lot of work over the last so many years. I have to thank personally Sarah, James, Kim, not just for putting this on, but supporting us in the growth that we've had, especially in my last 2.5 years in this role. Special thanks goes out to my team. Not all of them can be here, obviously. 900 something people is hard to pack into this room, but thank you for coming in and supporting me. At the end of the day, without the teams that we have, the men and women in the plant right now, supporting our customers, supporting the growth, we would not be successful. So at the end of the day, everyone that is on the team really is getting this award at the end of the day, because this is not just about me. This is about the team growing the business and creating jobs in the area. So many may not realize this, although I gave it in the video a little bit. We're in an unprecedented growth on aerospace. It is just, we're at a rate that on engine production, structural production, that is unmatched to anything in history. We are in the middle, that growth allows us to not only bring on new innovative technology and products, but also grow our base business. Our customers, Lockheed Martin for JSF, Boeing, Airbus, Safran for engines, there's so many of them to name, are just in a position now where they just need as much material as they can to continue this ramp. This growth has enabled our facility, and I'll speak about the Wethersford facility primarily, to invest tens of millions of dollars in that facility over the last couple of years. It's also, as I said in the video, allowed us to bring on 170 jobs in the area. That's opportunity for people, families, going into the future to grow the opportunities in the valley. We have generations of people in our facility. We want to continue to support the growth in the area. Some of the technology that really differentiates us, and since you may not all be aware of what Arconic, the old RTI, makes, one of the main engine platforms is the LEAP engine. If you know anything about this, it is the second largest engine program in history. There's over 15,000 engines either on order or in the air today. And we are one of 2 suppliers producing our new thialuminide product, which is extremely light and strong and actually replaces these nickel blades in the back section of the engine. Our technology enabled this engine to be 30% more efficient, reducing fuel consumption, which obviously brings profits to the airlines, which allows them to create more jobs, and at the end of the day also helps the environment by causing less emissions. My program manager, Shane Probst, is here. He's one of the guys, we've been living this ramp up. It's been, as I said, unprecedented, but it brought significant investment to the area, and it brought significant job growth to the area. And we as a team are proud to be able to do that here. As I said in the video, many people don't understand that we are actually the 4th largest titanium supplier here in the world. The Ohio area, primarily the Wethersford facility, produces 100% of the Joint Strike Fighter titanium. As Linda said, she saw it on the lawn of the White House, but we actually, every ounce of titanium in that jet is made by us. And the ramp that has experienced has also enabled us to invest in the business to grow on our standard products as well as new products. So it's an exciting time for us. It's an exciting time for the Valley. Again, I really appreciate the award. This award, I accept it for myself and the team. Again, it goes back to we have so many people that help support this. It's a pleasure to work with the chamber as we continue to grow. Work with YSU on internships. I just appreciate all the support that you guys have given us and continue to bring more jobs to the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for your significant and ongoing contributions to and investment in our community and for helping to make it an even better place to live, work, and play. Our next award, Business Advocate of the Year, we present to an individual who has helped change the face of the Valley by bringing a national spotlight to additive manufacturing, or 3D printing, in our community. Rob Gorham left a high-level position with Lockheed Martin in his home state of Texas to join America Makes in Youngstown as Deputy Director of Technology Development in 2013 before being promoted to Director of Operations in 2014 and Executive Director in 2017. America Makes is the first institute within the Manufacturing USA infrastructure and is driven by the National Center for Defense Manufacturing and Machining. Since he came on board, Rob has attracted hundreds of millions of dollars in federal support to build the additive manufacturing supply chain for the Department of Defense, and along the way, he has helped many local manufacturers become more competitive by applying additive technology into their processes. Please turn your attention to the screens once again.
America Makes is a public-private partnership focused on one thing: to advance additive manufacturing and 3D printing for the benefit of the United States. And we partner with public organizations like the Department of Defense and Energy, the Department of Commerce, as well as private businesses, large and small, and academic institutions, to really try to solve some of the world's hardest problems to make sure that additive manufacturing is effective and productive moving forward. America Makes is really an organization that is chartered by doing three things: bringing people together, coordinating the activities to include research and workforce education, and catalyzing really hard, difficult to solve problems. Members of America Makes are getting access the day they join to all the knowledge that exists across some of the largest companies in the world to some of the smallest, most innovative and agile companies. So members or prospective members, when thinking about being part of our consortium, should really look at being part of a community of trusted advocates for additive manufacturing, which ultimately can help your business make better business decisions where appropriate. Youngstown has a history of manufacturing, and what's awesome about America Makes is we're developing the future of manufacturing, and deploying it in Youngstown and trying to take advantage of all the expertise that sits in this area is exactly what we wanted to do, and make sure that what happens in Youngstown and what's happening in Youngstown can be deployed all across the country.
Joining America Makes, Rob was a senior manager of the Manufacturing Exploration and Development Group within the Advanced Manufacturing Systems and Prototyping Directorate of Lockheed Martin Aeronautics Advanced Development Programs. He was responsible for leading the transition-focused development and application of affordable manufacturing technologies for LM Aeronautics and other business areas across the corporation. Rob holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Aerospace Engineering from Texas A&M University and a Master of Science in Engineering Management from Southern Methodist University. The Canfield resident and wife, Erin, have 3 sons. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in saluting our 2018 Business Advocate of the Year, Mr. Rob Gorham.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start off by telling a quick story. So back in 2012, when I received a phone call from a company that I had not really done much work with called the NCDMM, asking if I was interested to come to work in Youngstown, I knew 2 things about Youngstown: the song by Bruce Springsteen and the fact that it was way, way north of the Red River, the natural border between Texas and Oklahoma. I also knew that it was cold, and I liked heat. So here we are. And oh, by the way, I like the single season in Texas as well. But here we are, fast forward 6 years, and really after discovering one thing that I know I don't like anymore, which is heat, and by the way, the last few days have been brutal. I hope you agree with me on that. Ohio's my home now. It's a home that I'm very proud to be a part of. And my wife, Erin, my sons, Porter and Bennett, and my special son, Harrison, because he was born under the extremely great care of the doctors and nurses at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. But the seasons are fantastic. This area is wonderful. I learned that Mexican food doesn't have to be all I eat. Italian food's great. We've got the best mom and pop restaurants that you can possibly imagine in this area. The golf courses. Oh yeah, I discovered cookie tables. That has not been good for my health, but I've really enjoyed the cookie tables. And I think this area is special. We can't forget that. You know, coming here from Texas 6 years ago, I didn't know what to expect. But I've learned that what we have is really an area that has family values, a passion for getting things done, an understanding that as a valley, we have to pull together and partner with each other to remain competitive in a very, very complicated world that we live in. I'm in the business of 3D printing, but more so, I'm in the business of helping business transform and understand how to continue to become competitive in a very competitive environment. And so I hope perhaps the video that you saw gave you some perspective about what it is we do. James, Guy, Kim, and to really everyone at the Chamber, our partnership's invaluable. We have something special. We've got some real momentum, and I'm very proud together that we're going to be putting together a critical piece of what the future of Youngstown looks like. Ralph, Gary, Jean, Aaron, Tiffany, John, Rhonda, and really the extended NCDMM family that's over there. Thanks for always supporting me. We have a very national initiative, but behind that national initiative is just as important to deploy that mission right here at home. And the business of NCDMM has always made sure that they supported my activities here in Youngstown, and I appreciate that. And I'd also be remiss to not mention YSU President Jim Tressel, YBI CEO Barb Ewing, WFMJ General Manager Jack Gerdick, and Triad Executive Director Cynthia Rogers, M7 CEO Mike Garvey, and HAPCO CEO Chuck George for always, from day one, supporting what we brought to Youngstown. We were an experiment. Not a lot of people knew what we were about. We opened up a building right on Federal Street. It was an abandoned warehouse, and a lot of questions about what we were going to become. We're very proud. It's a real honor. I'm humbled. I'm extremely motivated, and look forward to working with many of you moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rob, for all of your hard work in representing and driving forward the additive manufacturing industry right here in and from our region. We appreciate all that you and your team do. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention there's a postcard on your table with some information about America Makes' Members Meeting and Exchange event, of which the Chamber is a proud partner, on October 30th and 31st. A lot of high-level speakers coming in from the industry, as well as a lot of attendees from some Fortune 100 companies, and it's going to be a great event to attend. And so there's more information, and we hope that some of you will attend. Well, we next present our Nonprofit Professional of the Year Award to an impressive individual who has worked tirelessly to bring awareness of the civil rights movement to students in the Youngstown City Schools. Penny Wells is the founder of Mahoning Valley Sojourn to the Past and is considered a local expert on the civil rights movement, having become very passionate about the subject after teaching social studies in the Youngstown schools from 1969 to 2007. She founded the organization in 2006, has single-handedly raised more than $500,000 to support the efforts of Sojourn, and took students on their 12th pilgrimage to the South this past spring to learn valuable lessons in leadership and how to become difference makers in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screens once more.
Sojourn to the Past is a journey to the civil rights sites in the South, started by a gentleman in California. I met him at a teachers conference in Florida in 2006. And after I heard him talk about the civil rights movement and talk about nonviolence and how language can be hateful and harmful, I knew two things. I knew, one, I wanted to go on this journey myself to the civil rights sites, and I also wanted to take students. And I went back and talked to the superintendent of schools and talked to my principal, and we were on our way. And that spring, I took the first group of students, 6 students. students came back one year, and this first year, and decided they wanted to do voter registration. We're still doing voter registration. Then the students decided they wanted to have a nonviolence parade, and I thought that's just totally beyond my realm of capabilities. But this year, in October the 7th, will be our 8th annual nonviolence parade and rally, and it has grown every year. The next year, they decided to ask City Council, the school board, county commissioners, and the YSU trustees to pass a resolution making the first full week in October Nonviolence Week permanently. They all did. And then in 2013, the students asked Senator Joe Schiavone to introduce a bill in the Ohio General Assembly creating Ohio Nonviolence Week. And on July 11th, 2013, I took a busload of Sojourn kids to be with Governor Kasich when he signed their bill into law. What motivates me is these kids. I love these young people, and they have certainly enriched my life. And anybody who does not think that Youngstown City Schools has phenomenal students just needs to come in and meet some of these fabulous kids that we have here.
For her efforts, Penny has received numerous awards and recognition, including the Coretta Scott King Peace Award in Atlanta in 2016 for the creation of Nonviolence Week in Ohio. In 2014, her oral history was recorded and placed in the archives at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute in Alabama. And in 2012, Sojourn received the Youth Award from the Martin Luther King Holiday Commission in Ohio. The Youngstown resident is a member of several committees, including YWCA Anti-Racism Day, Education Committee of the League of Women Voters of Greater Youngstown, and Simeon Booker Group. She is also chair of the Nonviolence Week Committee and organizer of the annual Nonviolence Parade. Ladies and gentlemen, please salute our 2018 Nonprofit Professional of the Year, Ms. Penny Wells.
First of all, Rob, I did not realize there was a fellow Texan up here. I was born in Dallas. I would like to thank the Regional Chamber for this honor. It was just so unexpected. And I was taken completely by surprise, Kim, when you contacted me. I also need to thank Krish Mohib, CEO of Youngstown City Schools, for supporting me in all that I do. He's been phenomenal. And special thanks to Maria Pappas for her encouragement and support, as well as all the people adults and students who have been part of and are part of the Sojourn family. In receiving this award, I'm accepting for all the wonderful Youngstown High School students who have participated in Sojourn to the Past journey to the civil rights sites in the South. Sojourn is a life-changing leadership development program. Students return home empowered to practice the principles of nonviolence and to give back to their schools and community and beyond, even after graduating from high school. It was Sojourn students who decided they needed to register their peers to vote because people in the South, African Americans, were jailed, beaten, intimidated, sometimes even killed, simply trying to register to vote. It was Sojourn students who decided to have a nonviolence week in their schools and petitioned the school board and the city council and the YSU trustees. It was Sojourn students who decided that we needed to have a law passed making the first week in October Nonviolence Week and reached out to Senator Joe Schiavone to introduce their bill. And it was Sojourn students who were with Governor Kasich when he signed their bill into law. And also a Sojourn student who came to me and said, we need to now have a nonviolence parade and rally. And on October the 7th this year, we will have our 8th annual nonviolence parade and rally, and I encourage all of you to come and attend and support us. These Sojourn students have blessed me beyond measure. Congressman John Lewis, who's an icon of the civil rights movement, in his book, Walking with the Wind, says, he believes that in the spirit of history, the spirit of history finds you or selects you, he says. It chases you down and you have no choice. You must allow yourself to be used, to be guided by the force, to carry out what must be done. And I've never felt so strongly that I have been called to do this work. I've never felt so passionate about what I am doing, and my life has been enriched because of it. Watching these students grow and mature as a result of participating in Sojourn to the Past has been simply amazing, and I cannot imagine doing anything else. Thank you for this award.
Thank you so much, Penny. It's truly an amazing program, and especially for the impact you're making on the lives of so many of the young people in Youngstown and for the impact we know that they will have on our community. Our next award was created to honor the spirit of entrepreneurship, and our recipient decided to switch gears in his career about a decade ago, resulting in a company that has become a leader in the manufacturing of high-temperature tools globally. Chuck George left the financial management industry after 27 years at Packard Thomas to take on a new venture as CEO of Hapco Incorporated, an industrial heat tool and extrusion welder supplier and manufacturer with distribution centers in Ohio, Texas, California, and Canada. He helped the company thrive through the adaptation of additive manufacturing and then founded two more companies, Strong Press, which manufactures extrusion heads, and TripTech Plastics, producer of thermoplastic filament and welding rod, both based in the Youngstown Business Incubator. Now, all of Chuck's companies are growing rapidly in the defense industry by incorporating additive manufacturing. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screens.
At the ripe age of my late 40s, I decided that I needed to do something different. I'd been doing the accounting for 27 years. Had an opportunity to buy a company in Kent, Ohio with a couple other fellas that sold industrial hot air tools, as well as a division that manufactured tarps for over-the-road trucks. My interest wasn't in the tarp business, my interest was in the industrial heat tool business. And the business had absentee ownership, it was second generation. We bought it in 2007, and of course in late 2009, 2010, the lights pretty much went off, and was a lot of soul searching, but probably what saved us is the company had been pared back so far because of the absentee ownership and a few other changes that had happened in the marketplace that allowed us to survive. I think really what's made us successful is being in Youngstown, Ohio, which may sound unusual for people that haven't traveled the area. We joined America Makes, and although we've participated in a couple projects, one of the biggest success stories for us is going to the meetings and networking with Fortune 500 company leaders, Fortune 500 R&D folks, and they would talk to you and interact with you.
Chuck, who received his Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from Youngstown State University, has been the president of the board of the Youngstown Community School since 2000 and the treasurer of the Second Harvest Food Bank in the Mahoning Valley since 2015. He sits on the board of OWOW, is a trustee of the Youngstown Symphony Society, and also sits on the Regional Chamber's Government Affairs Council. And just 2 months ago, Ohio Governor John Kasich appointed Chuck to a 9-year term as a trustee at Youngstown State University. The Canfield resident and wife, Dr. Kathleen Paget, have 2 children. Ladies and gentlemen, please salute our 2018 Entrepreneur of the Year, Mr. Chuck George.
Kim, thank you very much. Let me start off by saying thank you to the Regional Chamber for this great honor today. When Guy Coviello called me today to tell me I'd been selected for the award, I tried to convince him that there were a few other individuals in the community that had deserved it more than I. But obviously I was not successful in my persuasion as I stand here today. I know what you're thinking. The average age of an entrepreneur is 19 years old. This guy's not 19 years old. The average vision is that they're 19 years old and they're college graduates or college dropouts. I know, Jim, we don't want to hear that, but they're out there. The fact of the matter is that some of the studies show that the average entrepreneur is 39 years old. Okay, I get it, I'm not 39 either. And a 39-year-old entrepreneur is 5 times more likely to succeed than your typical 19-year-old. Sorry about that, Zach. It's just the facts of the way things are. Many of you have supported me and our companies on this journey. I'd like to personally thank Barb Hewing from the YBI, Rob Gorham from America Makes, Ralph Resnick also, and YSU. Jim Tressel YSU has been a big supporter of ours from the early days and has given us a lot of opportunity. Jim, I was hoping Administrator McMahon would stick around and hear about our vision for the MVICC when it comes to job training and workforce development. The problem today is we're trying to train a workforce for jobs that really don't exist as we stand here today. In our companies that we've stood up, our biggest challenge for workforce is not drugs, it's finding people that are trained to be able to do at least part of the job that we're asking them to do. And in all fairness to those folks, those jobs didn't exist, and some of them are future jobs that will exist soon. I'd like to thank my wife, Kathy, who's with us today. She's my biggest supporter. And without her support, listening to some of the crazy ideas that we come up with and giving me encouragement, I wouldn't be here today. I wish I could share with you more with some of the projects we're working on, but when you work in the defense industry, in the aerospace industry, the NDAs are longer than usually the contract you sign to do the work. But what I can tell you is the technology we're working on will touch every aspect of your life. It'll touch the way we fly, the way we float, and the way we drive. I can tell you one thing with certainty as I stand here today, that something from Youngstown, Ohio will end up on Mars when NASA gets there. Let me say in closing, I'll borrow a phrase from Congressman Ryan, who was at the YBI ribbon cutting. It's a great day to be an entrepreneur in Youngstown, Ohio. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chuck. You're never too old to dream. It's being able to turn those dreams into reality that matters the most. But we thank you for all that you're doing in the region to help advance an ever-growing industry and bring an even greater spotlight to Youngstown, Warren, Ohio. Our final award, Small Business Person of the Year, we present to an individual who strives to innovate and change the world and improve the human condition through technology and business. Tyler Harden is a software engineer who began his career outside of the Valley, but chose to move back to invest when he opened his company, ExoSpec, housed at T-Bike in Warren in the fall of 2017 in partnership with a lifelong friend. They made the decision to take their years of experience across business management, software design and development, marketing, consulting, and information technology to pivot and build the area's first true managed services provider. Tyler is working aggressively to support the needs of the regional business community and local governments by providing technical services. And to that end, he co-founded earlier this year Warren Wireless, the Valley's first and only locally owned and operated wireless and fiber internet service provider. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screens one last time.
ExoSpec is a managed service provider, so it's like an IT company. We just focus on doing things on like a recurring contract basis as opposed to break fix where somebody's calling in when there's a problem, focusing on like proactive management and monitoring and maintenance and that sort of thing. As we got further into doing the managed services, we ran into a lot of people and a lot of companies that have had issues with internet outages and overpriced internet, or just not having enough bandwidth to really support the tier of services that we're offering, because there's a lot of remote monitoring, a lot of remote management, televideo conferencing, that kind of thing, as well as like voice over IP services for phones as opposed to traditional phones. And you can't really access all that without paying an arm and a leg for internet access here. So we kind of moved into offering internet service with the fiber backbone in the area, just because nobody else is doing it. It was a good opportunity that I don't think I would have had if we had located somewhere else, or if I had tried to do this like bootstrapped out of my home or anything like that. Being so close to everybody, most of my clients are businesses downtown, and the people that I've met through the relationships that I was able to forge from being here and being so close to everything was definitely pivotal to our early growth. And I would say that's definitely key to being in the loop as much as being, operating a business, because especially in a smaller town like this, in just a smaller area like we are, personal relationships trump everything else.
Those who know Tyler say he has always been far ahead of his time. He started attending Youngstown State University while he was still a senior at Niles McKinley High School. He went on to earn bachelor degrees in economics, marketing, and entrepreneurship at Kent State University, and computer science, computer engineering, and electrical engineering at Cleveland State University. Tyler previously held positions as a software engineer at Vertical Knowledge in Chagrin Falls, as well as at tech companies in the Chicago area. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Small Business Person of the Year, Mr. Tyler Harden.
Hi, good morning. This is my first time winning anything like this, and this is also my first time coming to any type of event like this, so the nerves are real. I wanted to thank Kim and Sarah Boyarko and James. It's an honor and very humbling to have won such an award and be honored in this way. We've only really been a company since November of last year, and we've only been a chamber member since the beginning of this year, and we opened our doors for business January 1st. Things have grown quite a lot since then. It's been stressful. Mrs. Mann had mentioned about when you're the CEO of a company that you really are a little bit of everything. And nobody can attest to that more than myself. We were a one-man shop outside of my partner, Mike Coppola, who founded the company with me, who's been one of my best friends for over 10 years. And outside of that, it's a very stressful time. And without the support of my loving and beautiful girlfriend, Jordan, I wouldn't be able to do everything that I do. She puts up with quite a bit. The support system from them and from my family has been extremely great in everything here. And I also wanted to mention that the Tech Belt Energy Innovation Center, which is where we have our main office and where we maintain our data center currently, has been pivotal to everything that we do. I've been extremely busy, so I hadn't really prepared anything to explain all of this, but I had pursued starting my business several times in my life since I was very young. My grandfather owned an HVAC company for over 80 years. He started it when he was 16 until he was 96 years old when he passed. My uncle took that business over in the last 10 years prior to that. And getting to work for that company starting when I was 9 years old is how I really got into IT to begin with. I never had any formal training in IT when I started. So when I had been able to go to Chicago, work for Fortune 500 companies developing software, touching the healthcare space and the financial space and the education space, and then being able to come back to the area and work for a Department of Defense contractor to be able to create software that saves the lives of our men and women that serve overseas, that was absolutely touching. Unfortunately, when that contract finished, I decided to move back home and start a business, which was no small feat. I'm proud to say that, you know, despite the fact that most businesses do go out of business in their first year, and it is one of the hardest years, we started our first month doing $10,000 in business, and come the close of 2018, I think we're going to grow a factor of over 25 times. And we're on track to do some extremely large contracts throughout the end of this year and into next year. And hopefully over the next few years create lots of jobs and bring a lot of new technology and a lot of new services to the area that I don't think that we've seen here before outside of enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tyler, for all of your hard work and efforts and bringing all of your knowledge and expertise back home. Congratulations on your success and best wishes for more to come. Can we please give all of our award honorees one final round of applause for all of their hard work and efforts? You truly are an inspiration to all of us, and we appreciate all of your commitment and dedication to our valley. And with that, that concludes our program. So thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the fair, all the Valley football, and have a happy Labor Day. Thank you so much.